The Sack of Rome, Troy, and Worthless Idols. The City of God, Volume 1, Book 1, Argument 3. So Augustine's third argument is that the Romans did not show their usual sagacity when they trusted that they would be benefited by the gods who had been unable to defend Troy. Augustine puts forward the case that the gods in Virgil's Aeneid did not protect Troy from its sacking. This is similar to Rome and how these pagan gods did not protect it from its sacking either. And these be the gods to whose protecting care the Romans were delighted to entrust this city? Oh, too piteous mistake! And they are enraged at us when we speak thus about their gods? Though so far from being enraged at their own writers, they part with money to learn what they say, and indeed, the very teachers of these authors are reckoned worthy of a salary from the public purse and of other honours. Pagan priests and poets like Virgil and Horace merely sought to make a profit from their fellow pagans, being sponsored by public expense or from the patronage of the emperors and princeps. Virgil in the Aeneid, I 71, stated, "A race I hate not ploughs the sea, transporting Troy to Italy, and home gods conquered." Augustine then stated that, "And ought prudent men to have entrusted the defense of Rome to these conquered gods?" Why would you entrust a city's defense such as Rome's to gods who couldn't even defend Troy? Furthermore, Augustine retorted, "Virgil says that the gods were such as these and were conquered, and that when conquered they could not escape except under the protection of a man. What madness is it to suppose that Rome had been wisely entrusted to these guardians and could not have been taken unless it had lost them? These gods have no power, since they can't defend themselves, requiring the protection of men. Would it not be wiser to believe that Rome would never have fallen into so great a calamity had not they first perished, but rather they would have perished long since had not Rome preserved them as long as she could?" So Augustine reinforces that the gods depended on Rome and not Rome on the gods who can't even save themselves. I meant to say about these ungrateful men who blasphemously impute to Christ the calamities which they deservedly suffer in consequence of their own wicked ways, while that which is for Christ's sake spared them in spite of their wickedness they do not even take the trouble to notice, and in their mad and blasphemous insolence they use against his name those very lips wherewith they falsely claimed that same name that their lives might be spared. They were given God's grace, both in temporal mercy and eternal salvation, but they continued to slander Christ's name, blaming Christianity for the downfall of Roman civilization, which was already on this trajectory in the first place. And also, we must realize that things, structures, and systems made by sinful, corrupt men inevitably fail because these things are also tainted with sin and corruption, the work of wickedness, pride, and arrogance. In the places consecrated to Christ, where for his sake no enemy would injure them, they restrain their tongues that they might be safe and protected. But no sooner do they emerge from these sanctuaries than they unbridle these tongues to hurl him curses full of hate. The pagans are not even grateful for their own salvation, and are quick to curse the very God, people, and institutions that protected them. It is like biting the hand that feeds you. Thus this concludes the sack of Rome, Troy, and worthless idols. Be sure to check out my other videos on Augustine's City of God, and also be sure to check out my YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.